is a story. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Here we are, January 2017. Lots of changes, lots of evolutions. So this is the deal. In 2016, I got the vision, the picture, the reality, the sense that the demographics were breaking off, splitting off. However, it's become very clear in the last 6 weeks that I'm picking up on something that's happening in the future. It's not quite happened yet, but what has happened is that the demographics, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, all the signs, these demographics that are on these evolutionary narratives, they're unfolding, spiraled evolutionary stories in particular themes. I do believe, I feel, I sense that they've split. And so what I'm going to be doing, and this is going to be more work, so I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be doing this, but what I've started to do for 2017, January, is for each demographic, I am doing 2 readings. So there's a split happening. There's a certain populace of people, there's a certain evolutionary story that's unfolding for, let's say, half, or at least a quantity, maybe even a third, a quantity of Aries. And then there's another storyline unfolding for another populace, another segment of the Aries demographic. It's the same for Taurus, etc. So let's get started on the year. I'll explain it as we go through the reading this month. Everyone, so there's a lot to talk about as we complete 2016 and we enter into 2017. So of course, this is our January 2017 Alchemy Scope, right? This series of Alchemy Scopes for this new beginning of a new cycle. And indeed it is. So let's start with talking about the numerology. 2016 was a 9-year. It was a hard year for many, many people out there. It was a very tough year. On the collective scale, it was a very tough year. In fact, this 9-year of 2016 was about endings, completion. It was about old patterns coming up to the surface for healing, for seeing. So as we complete this 9-year, we enter into 2017. Which is a 1 year. 2017, 2, 0, 1, and 7 together add up to 10. This 10 year adds up 1 and 0 to 1. All right? 1 is initiation. It's individuation. It's the individual. It's initiative and innovation. It is a new beginning. 1 is a new cycle. It is literally the new seed. So as most of you know who have tuned into my Alchemy Scopes forever, since I've begun, or even more recently, you realize that these Alchemy Scopes are always attuned to natural cycles. So they're always aligned with the new moon portal point. And the new moon is a new seeding time. Indeed, everybody, 2017 for all of us on the collective scale is representing energetically a new seeding time. It's a new moon on a massive scale. So we're entering into a new phase of a 9-year cycle. So this 2017 year is about new beginnings. So this is fantastic. And I have to tell you, everything that I'm going to bring up now is aligning with this message of 2017. Ironically, on this new moon point where we are officially kind of beginning, this is post-winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere, and entering into this new cycle for the year, I'm recording this, of course, before this Capricorn new moon, right before January 2017 begins. This new moon point, this Capricorn new moon, is the third of the last 3 months of a 7-degree new moon point. Scorpio had a 7-degree new moon, Sagittarius had a 7-degree new moon, and Capricorn has a 7-degree new moon. In fact, to be exact, the new moon that is occurring on the 28th/29th of December is at 7 degrees 59 minutes Capricorn. Now, everybody, the amazing thing that's aligning with this new moon, this new beginning point, that is representing for us the beginning of the chapter, the pre-chapter of the calendar year shifting to 2017, is that Uranus goes direct on the same day as our new moon. Now, if that weren't enough, we have the most amazing Sabian symbol, everybody. Listen to this. The Sabian symbol that is imbued at 7 degrees Capricorn is this. In a sunlit home, domesticated birds sing joyously. The keynote that Dane Rudhyar writes is the wholesome happiness which subservience to the ideals and patterns of a well-established culture brings to those who accept them unreservedly. The wholesome happiness which subservience to the ideals and patterns of a well-established culture brings to those who accept them unreservedly. So let me read on. In various ways, this section of the cyclic process brings to us images glorifying the power and benefits which a steady and well-integrated society brings to its members. Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn was the ruler of the Golden Age before he became a symbol of binding limitations. The person who accepts willingly, or even better, takes for granted the value of these limitations, can lead a serene and happy existence, whatever the social status. This stage suggests to us how we can enjoy our life condition by allowing the spiritual values it embodies to fill our consciousness. In every condition provided by a healthy culture, which hardly refers to our present chaotic world, human beings can find enjoyment in the roles they are born to play. Everybody, with 2017 equating to the energy of a 1 year, a new cycle, a new birth, individuation. This is about you becoming you. This is about you as a distinct soul print, a distinct individual, stepping into your uniqueness, your distinctness, and doing you. This could not be more aligned with the bigger picture. I mean, it's quite something. So this particular symbology is imbued not only for this particular new moon, but at the point at which Uranus is going direct. And Uranus is the individual. It is our distinct genius self. It's our uniqueness, our distinctness. So there's no accident. There's complete alignment with the fact that Uranus is going direct and that it's happening on this new moon. And this new moon is the third of 3 sevens. And this particular symbol is the picture. This is birds singing joyously in a sunlit home. This is about emanation. Sun emanates. This home is safety, security. It's the self. It's the body. Everybody, this is quite something, you know. Now, let's talk about this new cycle. So you heard me say in the introduction to this video that I had been getting a call for a long time now, actually. This is since last spring. So spring of 2016, I got a really clear picture that that these demographics of the signs are going to start to split. That there's going to be a threading of the story. It's going to fray out, because as people step into their individuation, as people understand that they are distinct, as they understand they are a powerful, distinct facet of consciousness, of source, they are going to break. They're going to go into more of their aligned soul print path. And the general demographics for the unfolding is going to shift and change. The thing is, I tend to pick up on things well before they manifest. So when I picked this up in spring 2016, it wasn't necessarily happening yet. What I got clear on in the last 6 to 8 weeks is that there is a split, but it's not threaded out into many different facets of story. So for example, instead of the demographic of Aries continuing on a general evolutionary path of unfolding narrative, it is split, but it's now split in two. So there's a distinct evolution upward, and there's another evolution going in another direction. As we move from a stable state into a chaotic state, as people continue to unveil and awaken and really align with their distinct soul print, they will not follow a general narrative. So yes, there is a split now. Is that split going to further break into different threads of story? Yes. At some level in the next couple of years, I don't necessarily foresee these particular readings following any particular thick storied narrative. They might, because again, I see things well in advance, years in advance of sometimes this stuff happening. So it could be that it's 5 years down the road, but maybe it's sooner. It's going to depend on how quickly people wake up and how people really... I think what's happened for me in the last 6 to 8 weeks is I've realized the level at which people are still strongly asleep. And so because that's the case, the understanding that I've gotten, the clarity that I asked for and that I received was that indeed there is a split, but right now it's only a bifurcation. It's only a split into two. So that's what we're going to proceed with. So let's move forward into the individual signs, and we're going to take a look and see one or two, A or B, left or right, because I am going to show you two different spreads and two different I Ching narratives. Okay? And one of those is going to align more for your story. All right, so let's get started. So I'd like you to meditate on two forms, square and circle. Square and circle. Now, if you'd like to align the form square with the number 1 or with the directional identifier right, you can do that. And I want you to also meditate on the form circle or number 2. It can also be B of A and B, or left of right and left. But I think the easiest way, because you're my very first recording, you know, I'm doing this split spread situation now for the first time, and I really do, it is my very authentic intention to make this easy and smooth as opposed to more complicated. It is absolutely against my deep desires to make any of this complicated, but unfortunately there's more information coming through. So I'm going to bring it, at least for now, I'm going to bring it forward, and I will attempt to be as clear and concise as possible. I think that square and circle, tapping into the forms, are going to be the easiest for people. because it's not about one being better than two. In fact, it's not that at all. A being the first letter in the alphabet, B being the second. There's always some hierarchical association that humans do with that stuff. And because I didn't want that, I think that square and circle are going to be best. So tap in. And once you know what it is, that is your form. So for all of these alchemy scopes coming forward, you are going to be square. You're not going to go back and forth between square and circle. Now, could it be that you kind of switch paths, or that you shift trajectory? Anything's possible. Absolutely anything is possible. But you're not going to flip-flop back and forth every month. If you pick square or if you pick circle, I am doing the readings according to those pathways. Okay? So let's begin. We're starting with square. So if you selected square as the resonant form for you, that means that that is your unfolding trajectory at this time. Aries squares. Okay, so let's take a look and see what is the narrative, what's unfolding for you in January 2017. Aries, for you, you received 2 I Ching hexagrams. The first was number 17, following, and it came with changing lines, and it became number 58, joy. So what this is saying is that this month, the Aries squares are going to be going through literally going with the flow of their joy, or of whatever joy is emerging. Okay, so it's following your bliss, essentially, for the most part. Now, if we look at your optimal embodiment, who are you to become? What's your evolution this month? The Dakini that came forward is another 17. So you received number 17, Vajra Yogini. Now, Vajra Yogini is the queen of Dakinis. According to Penny Slinger, she's the foremost Dakini in the Tibetan tradition, okay, of esoteric Buddhism. So, and Vajra Yogini is speaking about, or means, thunderbolt. It means diamond. Vajra means diamond. So, and because she really is the foremost Dakini, the core Dakini, the queen of Dakinis, this is about you becoming like a diamond. There's a steadfastness there, a clarity, a solidness, a foundational nature to Vajra, okay? And again, it is also thunderbolt, so it's extremely powerful. She has a fiery nature, Vajra does, but the inner essence is spacious and connects to higher consciousness, okay? Now, in addition, again, this is the second 17 you received. 17 following was your I Ching. 17 is also your Dakini, Vajra Yogini. Number 17 is a number that reflects 1, the individual, and 7, magic. Indeed, it is combined a message encouraging you to listen to your intuition and to take appropriate action. It's about connecting you to your higher self. Now, let's move on to your reading. So the spread, you can see there are the volatile cards that are laid out. These are the cards with the yellow border. And I also added, from now on, I'm going to be adding a tarot card in the center to elaborate upon the message that's coming forward. And these are the Druidcraft tarot. So in the center, we can see power. Potere in Italian is power. Power and the Prince of Cups. Now, the Prince is the Knight in the normal tarot, okay? So this is the Knight of Cups. Power regarding the Nine of Cups is the central theme or message for Aries squares over the course of the start of 2017. You can see that fear is activated. So there's a fear of releasing that is in fact taking place. This is about a closing of a relationship. For many of you, there is going to be some ending that's going to manifest. It's not going to be for all of you, but this is going to be for the Aries squares path. What is the unfolding narrative? There is some closing, there's an ending occurring, and it has to do with this Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is emotionally intelligent, emotionally available. The Knight represents somebody who is, a youngish man who is romantic and intuitive. So there's a powerful, perhaps, relationship that this month is going to be activating for a lot of you. Fear is the card that's coming up in the spiritual sector over at the right side. And it's connected to releasing over on the other side. That's the emotional sector. So there's a feeling of release that's activated, but you're going to be feeling at a very deep foundational level, a level of fear around it. Your thoughts are going to be on fortune. Your thoughts are going to be on money, success, maybe success versus failure, etc. But there's going to be thoughts around perhaps money for some of you, stability for some of you. Down at the base of the spread, giving, closing, dignity. Now, I will tell you that for a lot of you, you are going to be feeling dignity or alignment with the closing that is on offer. So there's something that's coming to completion for a lot of you. But for many of you, you're going to be feeling a sense of dignity, even despite the fear that's activated. And you're going to be thinking maybe about fortune, thoughts around success, moving forward. For some of you, though, the fear is kind of underpinning this whole narrative. So some of you are going to be feeling more frightened about any closing of a relationship and maybe how that will impact your security and financial situation later. Okay. Now, if we move on to the Aries circles. For the circles, you also received 2 I Ching hexagrams. The first one that came was number 53, a steady pace, and it came with changing lines, and it became number 57, gentle penetration. A steady pace does talk about moving forward with easy, natural, non-rushed progression. So some things take a while to knit and establish and bind. You know, it takes a while for a relationship to really establish its roots and its foundations. It takes a long time for an ecosystem to become a type 3 matured ecosystem. So a steady pace has to do with something that's been long established. And for some of you, this definitely could be a relationship, especially with the reading that we're going to look at for you. So it definitely looks like for a lot of Aries, there is a relationship coming to a close. How you deal with it is 2 different paths, and that's what we're talking about here. Now, 57, gentle penetration for the Aries circles is connected to this long established, let's say, binding or relationship via a steady pace. Gentle penetration has to do with, again, kind of like a steady pace, a slow impact over a long period of time. So, for example, the wind going through, the forest to cool it, it's not a blast, it's a gentle penetration. So there's a temperature change over time, etc. So both a steady pace and gentle penetration have to do with time, slowness, progression by its natural nature, by its own nature. Okay, so the underpinning story for the circles of Aries has to do with taking your time. And it could be taking your time, gentle penetration, with something that has been long established. Now, with regards to your Dakini, now Aries, I have to tell you, this Dakini has already come up 3 times, and I'm not done pulling the Dakinis for all the signs. Number 49, Agori, is indeed your optimal embodiment. It is your evolution. You are to become Agori this month. Agori does distinctly talk about the need, the spiritual growth edge that is to see God in everything, including that which is heinous, including that which is ugly. It's about seeing beauty in ugliness. And so, for those of you out there that are going through difficult times, it is about seeing with clearer eyes beyond the 3D hologram reality that you're experiencing now, and seeing which lies behind it. It's all God force. It ultimately is all source field. It can be very hard though. And so for Agori to continue to come up during the month of January 2017 is talking about the obligation to see the beauty in the ugliness, to see the function in it. There's a function in it that everybody's here to see. Now, good ones, let's go ahead to your reading here. So in the middle of the reading, you can see my Siri deck. In the middle is the project card with the Ace of Wands reversed. Now, the Ace of Wands upright can speak to a man. It can speak to new love, fiery love, sexual love, passionate love. The wand represents a phallus in a way. So with the Ace of Wands reversed, it's like the phallus is reversed. Ace of Wands, the fire is imploded. It's not upward energy, it's downward energy, or it's energy within. It could even be an anger or even kind of a seething, that moves within. But you can see that in the right side, in the spiritual sector, we have break, separation. There is a separation that's occurring, okay? But for the circles at the base of the reading, on the right path is coming up. And up at the top of the reading is querent. Querent is you. So your thoughts this month are about you and your optimal path, your aligned path, your right path, your best path. And indeed, if the Ace of Wands, the passion is broken, you're seeing it, the circles are seeing it as a project. You're seeing it as the break it's enabling a new birth, and it is part of your right path. So look in the emotional sector. Not only did you receive the romantic love card, but you received the spouse partner card, new birth, and unusual. Now, what this is saying is the break that you're experiencing with the spouse or a longtime love partner is an unusual way by which new birth is emerging for you. It is the way. It might feel weird, unusual. It might feel strange, unusual. But it's not the fear that's coming up in the other reading. There's an ability to look at the break through the lens, through the perception of, okay, this is the right path. This is the right path. Okay, beauties. So let's move on to the final tidbits of this reading for you. Everyone, an exciting announcement. Throughout 2016, I've been called to bring forward a Learn Your Soul Print course, and indeed it's happening. January 2017, we'll have 3 live stream courses discussing key aspects of your astrology, your archetype encodings, and the Sabian symbology that lives within your soul print, your soul's blueprint, that really are foundational understandings to knowing what our natural alignment is. It is highly delicious. And so for those intrigued, this is a great price, and I encourage you to learn more about it. The web address is thealchemyofholism.com/soulprintcourse with hyphens between the words. And you can find the link below this video. So for those ready to start 2017 with clarity, with alignment, I highly, highly recommend learning about this course. An excellent price point. The goal for me to provide a course versus working one-on-one with clients, which is what I do, is so that I can help more people align to their stories. And this story is the natural alignment, the natural bliss state. So I look forward to seeing some of you very, very soon. Everyone, before I sign off and wish you a very good month ahead, an evolutionary, a rich and expansive month ahead, I want to remind you that in order to get your personalized Alchemy Scope with a spread, with an astrological assessment of your solar return, with a discussion of your Sabian symbology, of everything that's activated, including your transits, I urge you to make contact. The link is below. And this is a video that you're going to have permanent access to, so you can refer to it throughout the year. But there is about a 2-week lead time, so I encourage you, if you'd like to tap into what the whole of 2017 has in store for you, please go ahead and click the link below to place your order right away. Talk to you soon. Bye. You are an embodied reflection of Source. You are thus infinitely empowered, abundant, and a co-creator with your context always. You are an alchemist. Divination works because the web of life is intelligently organized with coordinated and storied agency.